Well, a recent survey has found that a telephone call to a local police station has more than a 1 in 4 chance of not getting through. The calls were made to numbers listed on the South African Police Service's website. As part of its service, it offers the website provides an interactive tool through which you can find any police station and telephone number. Well, Dr. Jan Berger is a senior researcher at the Institute of Security Studies, and we're live to him now at our Pretoria studios. Good afternoon, Dr. Berger, and thank you for your time on the PM News Desk.
Good afternoon.
Well, police stations not listing the correct numbers demonstrate bigger issues facing the police, you've said. What do you mean by this, Doctor?
Well, I mean, there are a number of what is called systemic problems in the police service. Some of these were highlighted in internal reports published in the police service already in 2006 and 2008. And subsequently, again, surfaced during the Khayelitsha Commission of Inquiry, if you look at their report. And it's the same problems, and it continues to this day. And it has a lot to do with command and control issues, internal oversight in the police service, the absence of regular inspections at police stations that could check that these problems are being addressed and so on. So it's basically systemic problems that continue to exist at police station level.
Dr. Berger, every station right now has different sectors with a dedicated police vehicle, 2 officers and a cell number. Why is this not working?
Well, you know, if you look at sector policing, one cannot generalize and say it's not working everywhere. There are many examples throughout the country of where sector policing is working absolutely wonderful, where there's good cooperation between the police and communities. So, and sector policing in some areas actually is a model to what sector policing should be. Unfortunately, there are far too many police stations where it doesn't work as well, and in a few instances it doesn't work at all. And I think there are largely 2 or 3 reasons for this. One is often a lack of resources, because sector policing is resource intensive. Secondly, very often also we have poor command and control at a police station. Then very often sector policing isn't working at those police stations. And then of course community involvement, where there's a lack of dedicated and committed community involvement. Also, sector policing has very little chance of properly functioning.
The SABC generic emergency service or phone line 10111, it works well in some areas and not in others. Why is this?
Well, again, you know, there may be a number of reasons why this is the case. I think what previous research at the Institute has shown is that in areas where it doesn't work well is where you have civilian staff working in these 10111 centers that doesn't have adequate understanding of the operational needs that the police officers are working under outside in their patrol vehicles. So that is an important requirement, that there needs to be adequate understanding in these centers, 10111 centers, of the operational conditions that police officers work under. And that is why I think it's important that you have at least some operational experience also within these centers. The second reason why, I think I just need to mention the second reason often why things also doesn't work as well as it should in the 10111 centers is that often young people, even school children, block the system by making hoax calls to 10111 centers. Then that creates a blocking of the system, and then the police do not respond in time. Creates the impression that the police are not attending to emergency calls.
Dr. Berger, a fair degree of mistrust and a lack of public confidence in the police right now. How do we turn things around? Surely it points to a need for ordinary South Africans to actively involve themselves in community policing forums so that senior management is made aware of these problems on the ground.
Yeah, I think, you know, it needs to come from both Both the public communities themselves and from the police. On the police's side, of course, I think what needs to happen is management needs to acknowledge that in many areas these systemic problems that I've referred to does exist. It doesn't help to ignore these problems and to say, these belong to past reports. I think we need the police to acknowledge. Again, if you look at the Kailicha Commission report, also just emphasizing the fact that these problems continue to exist. So the police service need to acknowledge this and they need to attend to these problems. From the community's side, I think far too often community members tend to complain about the police and the lack of service, but then you do not find them involved in the structures that are set up to accommodate them, such as community police forums. And I think for community members to complain, they also need to make certain that they are part of these systems, that they participate in these structures, and that they get to know the police, and they also then get to know the commanders at the police station, the management at these police stations, and that they can interact with them when they have problems, so that they not sit on the sideline and just complain about the police, but that they become active partners in this whole process of policing.
Dr. Johan Burger is a senior researcher at the Institute of Security Studies. Thank you for your time on the PM News Desk.